Hello, so today continuing on Advent of Code Day 2, Rock, Paper, Scissors. So this is basically, essentially we are going to play a game of Rock, Paper, Scissors, and we have rounds, and we get in the input the rounds. And we know like what the first column is for the opponent, and the second one is for me, the player, or the person that I'm calculating the score for. So we'll calculate the score, and I'm calculating the score for the person that has the play in the second column. There is just that the second column we get the input, but the problem says that we need to consider that the second column we are unsure about it. So for the two parts, since there are two parts of the problem, we will for each of them interpret this column differently. So for the first one, we'll interpret it as the second column as the place for the second player, which is me, and the first column is always the place of the opponent, right? And they tell us what each of these letters mean. So for example, A means rock, B means paper, C means scissor, and for the first part of the problem, X would mean rock, Y would mean paper, and then Z would mean scissors, right? And we also know how to calculate the score. So the score for each play would be the sum of whether you won or lost or has a draw. There is a value attached to that, and then there is a value attached to like actually which hand did you play. Was it rock, paper, and scissor? Okay, so it's 0 if you lose. It's 3 if you had a draw. It's 6 if you won. And then you add that to whatever value. For X, it's 1. For Y, it's 2. For Z, it's 3, right? So, for example, in this one here, the first round, your opponent chooses rock. You choose paper. Okay, so that means you won. And so you won with Y, which is of the value 2. And you have a win, so it's 6. 2 plus 6, so it's 8. Okay. In the second round, BX, you have a B, which is paper, right? And you should choose. So basically, your opponent has B, you has rock, so paper rock. That means you lost. And so loss is 0 plus the value of X, which is 1, right? And then for the third round, it's a draw, right? The value of draw is 3, and the value of Z is 3, so 3 plus 3 is 6, right? So we sum all of these, 6 plus 1 plus 8, that gives us 15. So that's the answer for this input. So we want to write code. Sorry, I showed the answer, but doesn't matter. So we want to basically write something that calculates the score, right? So let's get to it. Okay, so let's write the code for this. So the first thing we need to do is, of course, like get the input, right? So we will take the input file. I have it under day.d2.txt, the input file here. And now we want to get want to open it, right? So with the name, and with the name, and we want to read it. So we are going to do that, okay? And then we want to split, because each of them are on a separate line. We want to split it, right? Split to get each play. So to do that, well, we can just take the input file, read it, and split by new line, okay? Okay, so now that we have these two, we're gonna do the first part. Let's call it part 1, and pass in the input, which is here. And so that's what we want to print. Part 1 on input. Since input is each line of these, which is a play, so let's call it's a list of them, so let's call this place, right? And now we can write the first one. So a couple of things. We know that from the problem. So we know that if you have AX, that means rock, right? Wins. So that means rock. So this is a draw, right? So this is a draw because rock, and rock is 1. If you have by, just going through the things, so by, it means paper, and then y is paper, so draw as well, so paper. 2, and then we know that cz, that's scissors, right, for both, and so it's 3, right? And then we know that a couple of things also for the win. So we know that if you win, there is an additional 6 point. Lose, there is 0 point, and then draw, it's 3. Okay. So what we can do is actually just use a dictionary to represent the different values. So here are all the draws. We will also represent all the wins. So for example, AY, that means paper, scissors, right? Paper, rock, paper. So that means you win, as this player wins. So this one, Y wins, so me wins. And it would be, this is just an example, so basically it's paper wins, and paper is equal to 2, and since it's a win, we would do 2 plus 6, right? And so that's exactly what we're going to hear. So the result, we will just have a dictionary of the result of each play. So if it's AX, as we said, that's a draw, it's 1 plus the value of a draw, which is 3. If you AY, that means paper wins, so 2 plus 6. If it's AZ, so we'll just do every variation. This means rock, scissors, right? So that means I lost. So the value of scissors is 3, but I lost, so 0. If we do BX, that means paper, rock, right? So that means I lost, and sorry, this is, yeah, paper, rock. So rock value is 1, and then lost is 0, and then BY, this means paper, paper, so it's a draw, so it's 2 plus 3, 2 from the value of Y. If we have the other variation is BZ, this is 3, and this is paper, scissors, right? So that means I win. So and then we have CX. We'll just do all of them. So we did AX, BX, CX, then we do AY, BY, BZ, then we do AZ, BZ, CZ, right? So here this would mean scissors, rock, so I win, and the value is 6. And here we need CZY, so this means scissors, paper, so I lost, so 2 plus 0. And then here we need CZ, so A, B, C. So just to get all the variations, this means scissors, scissors, so it's a draw, so it's a 3 plus 3. And we are done. Those are all the variations possible. And now what we need to do is just for each play, we want to get the results of the play, and we want to go do the score, right? So this is for each play in the list of plays. For play in plays. And what we want is the score, which is basically just the sum of all of these values. So we, in this dictionary, we put the score of each possible play. So we can just get the sum for every play. And then just return this, okay? And that's pretty much it. So let's just make sure this runs properly. Okay. So this is day 2. I think I didn't print it. Okay, so we have part 1, we pass the input, and we print it. And let's just make sure the input is parsed properly. Yep, the input is good, and here is the result. So we can remove this. Okay, so this is the value. Let's just make sure that this is the right one. And if we check, this is the right answer for the part 1. Now let's see what part 2 is. So part 2 says that actually this column meaning is different. It's not it's not what I play, it's how the round should end, right? So basically, if it's X, it means I need to lose. If it's Y, it means I need to draw with my opponents. If it's Z, it means I need to win. And so we will need to just calculate the score such that this happens, right? So, for example, in the first round, my opponent has A, rock, and I have X, which means, sorry, I have Y, let's say. Yeah, I have Y. So that means I need to draw, right? So how do we do that? Well, to draw, I need to have a rock. I need to have the same hand, right? And what is rock? It's draw, so the value is 3. So it's 3. But for the rock, the value is 1. So it's 4. In the second round, where we have bx, right? So bx, that means x means I need to lose. And my opponent has paper. Okay? So that means I need to have rock x so that I lose. And so lose is 0 and x is 1. And then in the third round, we have scissors. And then I have the value z, which means I need to win. So for me to win, I need to have rock x. So that's 1 plus 6. And so the sum of these is 12. So that's the idea. Now we just need to implement it. So how can we do that? Let's define part 2 here with plays as well. And still the same things here apply. I'll just, we just need to remember a couple of things. One is that A is rock, so the value is 1. B is paper, the value is 2. C is scissors, and the value is 3. And then X means, in this round, means lose. I need to lose. So the value, and that's value is 3. Is 0. And Y means I need to draw. And the value there is 3 actually. And Z means I need to win, and the value there is 6, right? And so we will actually do the same thing, just create a dictionary of plays, right? So if it's AX, right, that means my opponent has rock, and then I need to lose, right? So to lose, I need to have definitely it's 0, but to lose, I need scissors, right? I need to have C. So C, the value is 3, okay? So we'll do the same thing. We'll have BX here. We'd have CX here, just to get all the variations. And then after that, we would have AW, so all the variations, and here AZ, right? Okay, and then after that, here we need to have BW, okay, BW, and after that, we need to have BZ, and then here we need to have CW, and then we need to have here, and here we need to have CZ, right? And that should be all the variations we need, right? Now we just calculate the result for each. So for BX, that means I need to lose. So that means I need to lose, and my opponents had paper, right? So that would mean I need to lose, so plus 0, and my opponent had paper, so I need to be able to lose, I need to have rock, so value is 1. Here, X lose again, and my opponent has scissors, so to lose, I need to have paper, right? So the value is 2. And then here, AY, so Y is draw, so I need to have A, so something similar to A, so I need to have rock, so I need to have 1. And draw is 3, and here draw is 3 as well. My opponent has rock, so that means, I messed up a little bit here. Z means win, right? So plus 6. And A means rock, so to win, I need to have paper, right? So 2. And here Y means draw, so my opponent has B, so I need to has paper, so I need to have paper as well, so 2. And here is a draw again. My opponent has scissors, so I need to have scissors as well, so 3. The value of scissors is 3. And here I need to win, so plus 6. My opponent has paper, so I need to have scissors, right? So 3. And here again, I need to win. My opponent has scissors, so I need to have rock, so 1. Okay, so that's pretty much just listing all the different plays possible. And now we can do the exact same thing we did here, which is just getting the result of every play. and then doing the sum. Okay, and now we can just print the result for part 2 and pass the same input. And now if we do that, we get this value. Let's just make sure it's the same, and it's the same answer for the second part. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. You could of course, like, the brute force way is doing bunch of if and else, but it's a lot easier to just use this dictionary to calculate everything, right? Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it, what I wanted to cover here. Please like and subscribe, and see you on the next one tomorrow. Bye.